Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring, just want a life that is worth every day exploring,
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
About an hour south of Atlanta sits the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hampton, Georgia, to be exact, is the town. And we are ready to rock for the longest race of the season for the All-American ARCA Series presented by Whiteriver, LLC. It is also the final race of season number 5 as we welcome you into the Atlanta Motor Speedway. As mentioned, not the North Carolina Motor Speedway. That was last night. I just didn't update the track name in the middle. So forgive me for that. Been a long week. Ben was ready to rock and roll and crown ourselves a champion on this 1.54 mile D-shaped oval. By the way, the old Atlanta. 88 degrees, 51% humidity, partly cloudy skies with 10-mile-an-hour winds as we get ready to race. This is going to be kind of a weird race, so to say, for a lot of reasons. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. First, let's show you the point standings as we enter tonight. Christopher Heller leads by 6 over Brandon Barkuski. Matthew Weeks, 30 points back. Stephen Miles, 69 back. And then Mike Husby is 78 points back. So, let's just stop right there at this point. The top 2 at points are not here. So, we have a situation where we have 2 subs racing tonight. So, Zach Henry is in the 52 car for Christopher Heller. Philip Bedford is in the 25 car for Brandon Barkuski. If Heller finishes up, or if Heller's replacement Henry finishes up near the top 3, then Heller wins the championship. If Barkuski's replacement, Philip Bedford, finishes ahead of the Heller replacement by more than like 3 or 4 positions, then Barkuski wins the championship. There's a quiz later about all this. By the way, Mike Husby's not here also because apparently he's got something going on tomorrow morning and, he has to get up early. So he won't be here tonight either. So there's a whole lot of things going on right there in the top 5 alone. And yes, Matthew Weeks does mathematically have a shot to win the championship still. All right, we got all that? We'll come back to that in a minute. Team points, that's pretty much clinched, 25-11. With the 118-point lead, they have clinched the team championship. As you see, there is a battle, though, for second and even third in the team points there. Rookie of the Year standings. We had ourselves a tight battle between Stephen Miles and Tim Averill. However, Tim Averill's not here, apparently. So Stephen Miles will clinch the Rookie of the Year championship here tonight. So that one's done. So we'll add that to the no-show list. But Miles, the hometown Atlanta driver, well, at least he lives in the area, going to get the Rookie of the Year title. Congratulations to him. Pontiac does have a chance to win the championship tonight. Of course, they do got the 25 and 52 cars. So those points still up for scoring, along with Dodge and Chevrolet that have a chance to win the manufactured championship. But we'll try to keep track of all of this. But if Pontiac and Henry and the Bedford cars finish up there towards the front, it'll pretty much clinch the manufacturer's championship. Like I said, there's a quiz for all this later. Whole lot of stuff happening here in the final race of the season. And, yeah, of course, it's the night where I'm just holding on after a long week of work. And we're ready to go. You see the cars out there on track during the warm-up right now. Of course, we just had our MHD Pole Award qualifying that went down. And let's show you real quickly who qualified where for this afternoon's race. And Zach Henry, right there, step number one towards the championship for Christopher Heller, wins the pole by about 5/100ths of a second over Philip Bedford. Matthew Weeks third. So right there, 1, 2, 3 in points. 1, 2, 3 on the grid. And you throw in fifth, Stephen Miles. Well, there you go. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the top 5 in points, top 5 in the race. So congratulations to Zach on winning the pole. Of course, presented by MH Designs. And a big shout out to Mike Cusby for sponsoring the series pole awards throughout the season. And a big thank you to him for doing that. Also, a big thank you to Whiteriver LLC for, of course, sponsoring the season here in the All-American ARCA series. So cars, like I said, are on track here for the next 2.5 minutes or so. It's going to give us an opportunity, as he just jumped to the top of the board. He's out here on track. And let's talk to the driver in the number 52 car, who, by the way, only has one start so far in this 52 car. Or, I'm sorry, he made the start in the 25 car, which is the team car, and he won that race. Will lightning strike twice? We shall have to see. All right, so Chris, I'm going to call him Chris a couple times tonight, probably. Zach comes to pit road, and let's pull him up here as he comes down to the pits here to probably practice a live pit stop, so perfect timing for me to interrupt him. But Zach, you got a copy, bud?
Yes, I do.
All right, man. Well, no pressure. You and Philip are racing for a championship that I guess is basically not yours. Kind of weird how that works. Is there any kind of pressure on you tonight, you feel, to get this for Chris? Or is this one of those, you know what, I'm just going to go do the best I can for him?
I mean, of course, there's pressure, right? You know, he picked me to go win the thing for him, and if I let him down, that'll be a bit of a disappointment, especially if it's something that, you know, I do that ruins my chances of securing the championship for him. You know, if I'm involved in somebody else's thing, that's a little bit better. You know, I'll blame Chris for not being here, but if I go pound the wall, you know, 80 laps into the race and then fall back to 10th and Matthew wins the race, then obviously I'm going to feel a little bad about that one.
Right. So I want to go back a little bit here, and I want to go to the race that you just happened to win earlier this season, as I'm looking at the results here of the races, and I couldn't help but look at, you finished first in this particular race at Iowa that weekend, that Friday night, and I looked for Chris, who finished in the 5th position. So is there any weirdness that could come into play here where if you finish, say, 6th or worst in this car, but the 25 goes to victory lane again, knowing that your win at Iowa maybe hurt yourself tonight winning the championship for Chris?
I'm not all that worried about that. You know, if Philip could go out there and win the race and Brandon wins the championship, then that's good. I mean, their fault for not being here, right? So
Right.
I'm doing what I can. I won the race earlier at Iowa for Brandon, so I think it's only fair that I go out
Right.
here and do my best to win the race for Chris, so it's even. And I think that'd be pretty cool if I can
Right.
get the win tonight, because I would have won in my car at Auto Club, Brandon's car at Iowa, and then if I can do it here, I'd win in Chris's car here at Atlanta.
That would be pretty unique in all fairness, but I had to be the awkward one that creates trouble here. So, but no, in all fairness, great job winning the pole tonight, and best of luck.
Thank you. Hopefully it's a good race.
Absolutely. I'm sure it will be, bud. And Zach Henry, the pole sitter tonight. Again, he's driving the 52 car, which, again, as I kind of made the joke to there, he drove the 25 car at Iowa.
Against the previous speech. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight.
we all know how that went. So, interesting. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup here. And you're going to notice up top, it is Henry on the pole. Bedford second. So the two replacement drivers, first and second, Matthew Weeks, as I mentioned, he'll start third. Casey Carrington on the outside starting fourth. Stephen Miles, who's fourth in points, will start in the fifth position. Josh Dillon and Fitzsimmons up there. How about the qualifying run for Justin Ray starting in eighth? Matt Schlosser, Kyle Hall with a good top 10 start. So, lineup there going across the top of the screen. Hey, let's listen to the
season and
admin.
Very nice one to do race control for. Just a note for anybody who's a sub driver tonight or is just new for tonight. The restarts are going to be on green. Sorry, apologies. The start's on green, but the restarts are on the leader. If you cause one ELO, receive one license point during the race, it's going to be an ELO. Get a second one, you're done for the weekend. And that should be just about it. Stay in your lane on the restarts until you hit the start-finish line unless you're avoiding a crash.
There you go. There's the rules for tonight.
And if you are the...
No pressure on him, huh? All right, lineup. We are all set and ready to go. This is the old 2008 Atlanta, for those curious. So this is the old bumpy track. This is not the Super Speedway Atlanta that you can race here. We still have the chance to race the old Atlanta, which is going to be fun. This is going to be a very old school looking race, like a 2006, 2007 type of race, because we got a worn out surface with the 950 horsepower Cup cars. As we will go 163 laps, 250 miles, the longest race for the All-American ARCA Series. It's also the championship race. Tonight we crown a champion at Atlanta. Green flag. And as always, our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and in the iRacing forums. They are at TrackCams22.com. Appreciate what they do for the channel. As Henry jumps out to a pretty early lead in that BenGM Pontiac. You see the Dodge Charger there behind in the 11. That is Matthew Weeks. As Henry leads lap 1. A lot of questions about this setup. I've been hearing a lot of tight from pretty much from the entrance to center, and then almost some loose off. I've been told that the high line might get used later on into a run, which could be interesting, but we'll see. The car's already kind of spreading out right now. They're painting that white line down there at the bottom. Good racing all the way around here as we see Alex Penn there in that 30 car inside Nick Leo. That's at the 11th position. Lap times here. Going to see some pretty good fall off now. I'm not sure if we're going to see the fall off, or I should say as good as fall off as we saw at Rockingham when we did the broadcast last night. But I think we're going to see a good 2-3 second fall off here, especially the longer in the run we go. So look for people to be saving tires here throughout this race, especially those who think they don't have a good short run car when all is said and done here. Henry out to about a 1/10 of a second over Weeks. Everybody pretty much drafted with each other right now to get this thing started. You can already see some cars starting to do the dance. Last week's winner at Rockingham, Casey Carrington. As he's going to lose a spot to Schlosser. So Carrington back 3 spots already from the 4th position starting. As well, Finley Fitzsimmons gets a little loose up there at the top. That was kind of scary looking. It's one of those tracks, you get different braking points, you got different lanes you can run, you got those seams you got to be careful of. Because those seams can cause all types of issues. Kyle Hall back there in the 9th position, that 87 car, the one that looks like a Food Lion paint, but it's not Food Lion. Or I should say Food City. Looking inside of Leo there, Zach Henry with Justin Ray back there. One car into the wall hard back there. That's one of the TI cars, might have been Dalton Wilson, who has hurt that right side. Yeah, pretty good there in that 33. And Dalton has scuffed her up pretty good. Yeah, you can see the right side damage. We continue green, though. Up front, Weeks putting pressure on, but Henry's still doing a good job maintaining. Now, an interesting factor I could bring into this race. I talked about Zach earlier, and you heard Zach kind of mention in his interview that, you know, he won for Brandon at Iowa, won himself at California, and here he is at Atlanta. What's the comparison to Iowa and California? They're both worn-out surfaces. Iowa, of course, is on its original surface, which was built in 2009. Auto Club, 1997. And then this track, of course, back in 1997. So maybe it's an omen that Zach on worn-out surfaces tonight shows his speed as Weeks kind of slides up a little, gets a little tight there. Stephen Miles. What a win this could be for the driver that is from Louisiana but lives right here in the Atlanta area. Okay, let's throw the speeds up here on the screen. Let's see how we're looking here. At 157 miles an hour or so. Now 187 down to 3 and 4. And you can see already lap time's off about a half second. Now, of course, at this time come next season, these cars will be totally adjusted as iRacing, I think here in about a month or so, is going to come out with the updated Gen 4 car, basically. Right now, and ever since this car came out, or I shouldn't say come out, was accidentally released or updated or whatever. Basically, it's the ARCA setup with a gear change. And I think you're going to see a whole new, just different car, which will emulate the Gen 4 car of the 2000s. And it's really going to make this car fun to drive. You saw topside there as Bedford tried to make the run on Weeks, crossed him over down to 3 and 4. Here he goes to the bottom, going to slide up, gets out of the gas. Great job by Bedford there. That was a little scary. I'm sure Weeks will appreciate him getting out of it. Might cost him third, though, unfortunately. Now Miles checked up and let Bedford collect himself. Back here, we got a Hornet's Nest. Josh Dillon thinking about the middle there. 13 laps in the books already out of 163. Everybody's got to pace themselves. Fuel run here about 38 laps. Here's the intriguing part to this 38-lap race. Turns out that Goodyear accidentally shorted their tire allotment in the trucks. So because of that, there's only 4 sets of tires sitting in the pits. Which means when you do the math, 38 times 4 comes out to roughly somewhere in the region of 156 laps. Yeah, that makes you short when it's all said and done. So there's likely going to be a stop in this 4-stop stint, or race I should say, where the cars might have to double stint a set of tires. So I think that's something these drivers are going to have to consider when they're out there on the track. But right now, this gaggle of cars, I don't know if there's really any saving going on. All getting a little loose there through the quad oval. By the way, if you're enjoying the broadcast, you can always hit the subscribe button. And you can always be a part of all the broadcasts. Of course, we have broadcasting almost every night. Including Friday nights. And, of course, this will be the last Friday broadcast for a little bit. We will be back. As far as I know, we'll be back for Season 6. I have not been told otherwise by Casey. But I'm expecting to be back. If not, then you could do like they do in the cable commercials, where they say your local news station will not be here as of July 1st. If you'd like to see your local news station here on this channel, you may contact that local news station. Well, in this case, you could contact Casey and say, we want the captain. Or you can tell him you don't. Either or. So that's Zach Rogers there in the 4 car, right behind Josh Dillon there in the 12. Almost gets into the 400 of Schlosser, the Nissan. Don't wreck the Nissan. Hanging that tail out. So lap times now, remember just a few laps ago we were looking at Stephen Miles running a 31.8. We're now down to the 32.7s, 32.8s, 33 flats. So the tires are really starting to chirp now. So where you're going to see those kind of stretch out a little bit who have saved their tires. You're going to see those who maybe burned off the tires fall back. Josh Dillon, I heard him over the microphone say, I'm backing up, backing out, go up. I think he's just being very careful with his car. I think he's one of those you're going to see maybe do a strategy maybe after the first stop and double stint some tires. So we'll see how that goes when the pit stop gets here. Battle for second continues on as Bedford there in that 25 car. Putting the pressure on Matthew Weeks in the 11. Finley Fitzsimmons there in the 5th position. He's got about 3/10 right now on Casey Carrington. Tyler Burden in the 7th position. So do want to break some news to you, by the way. The season, number 6, will begin under the lights August 11th at Daytona. It'll be a preseason event right before there, July the 4th. The Friday before, I should say, which will be actually be July... That actually is July 4th, so I don't know if they're planning on doing a Friday night event, apparently. But, or that's August 4th, I'm sorry. July 4th is actually going to be registration for the Aaron 3 event. In case you don't know what Aaron is, it's an actual acronym. It's not somebody named Aaron. It is an acronym that I have to jump over into the Sim Racer Hub. I still try to remember this, but I always struggle with it. It is the All-American Race of Notables. Spells out Aaron. Season 3 of that coming up here in July. It'll just be like 2 or 3 races of just randomness, basically. And when I say randomness, I mean you got issues for Schlosser, I believe, here. Or maybe it's a car blinking out or something. I saw Schlosser fall down the grid for a second. But it looks like everybody's okay. So basically, it's like random races, like a Mazda Miata racing at Auto Club. Or something like that out of existence. So oh, caution is out, trouble. And Justin Ray has gone around over on the back straightaway. And that's going to bring the first caution out here. The Literal Pest Solutions Chevy Impala goes for a spin and brings out the first caution here, lap 25. This will be a good opportunity to, I think you're going to see some people top off the tank here, and curious to see who's going to do what on tires. You see Ray slides up the track. Austin Bloom gets under him. Oh, and then he gets helped by Alex Bryson. Bryson gets into the back of him and sends him for a spin. Look out, back up the track he goes. See if we get a better view of this. You see right there, Ray comes up the track, loses a whole lot of momentum. You see Bloom gets under him. Oh, and then he gets loose again right there, and Bryson just has nowhere to go. You think those seams don't play a role? Oh, yeah, they do here. You get those rear tires with how worn they are. As everybody's in, if you see the car lift up, that means they're changing tires. If you don't, and you'll see them pull out here in about a second, it'll be fuel only for those cars. I think everybody's taking tires here, which kind of shocks me a little bit here. 4 tires and fuel. Which means that a lot of the field has got the double stint tires somewhere now. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute the microphone of myself here for a second. I'm actually going to jump down, because I don't want to let out secrets or anything like that. I'm going to jump down into a team channel real quick of someone's, and I'm going to get their right front. One driver in particular, somewhere, and I will let you guys know the number. This will tell you right now how the tires are wearing here at Atlanta. So give me 1 second here. All right, so went down and talked to a couple of drivers and got this information from them. One of the drivers had 64% on the inside wall of the right front. So basically, their right front is taking a pretty good wear. 64% in 25 laps. The other driver in that channel had a 69% right front. So what that means is 100% obviously is a fresh tire. So it wore 30-something% in 25 laps. So that's not bad, but let's just put it like this. In a regular race at like a regular track, that's usually the end of a run on tires. All right, going to come back to the green with Henry in the lead. Weeks, Bedford, Stephen Miles, Finley Fitzsimmons, your top 5 at lap number 29 after the first caution for Justin Ray going for a spin. Here we go. Jippery Slim. That is an interesting name. But hello, welcome to the channel, sir or ma'am. As Fitzsimmons inside of Miles for the 4th position. You see Nick Leo making a move inside of Carrington. Track temp, 103 degrees right now as Justin Horton comes to pit road. Not sure if that's a penalty or whatnot. Let's keep an eye on that 27 car, see what is going on there. Horton, I believe, might be making his season debut here. All right, so to the record, it looks like everybody did take tires on pit road there. So nobody went fuel only to double stint tires. So let's take away a set of tires. So 3 sets now for 130 laps. That means now you literally have to go 45 laps. You know what the problem is? You can only do 38 on fuel. There's a double stint coming somewhere. Back here, you see Zach Rogers under attack. That 07 car, that is Jackson Van Pelt, the Starburst 07. There it is, that Pontiac Grand Prix, kind of shades of a Michael Waltrip Bahari Racing number 30 throwback, which also was a Pontiac back in its heyday. This track's going to get hotter. I mean, it's only 2:15, 2:17 sim time right now. You see some shade over in turn 1. That's because there's some clouds over there. And as you see sunlight over here in 3 and 4, but get later into the afternoon, that should clear itself out, and you'll see most of the track should be in sun throughout the afternoon here. Up front, battle for second. Bedford inside of Miles as Matthew Weeks has fallen back to 5th. As I think about it, now this might be the stint where you see some people back off the pace, and I wonder if that's what Weeks is doing here. Kind of backed off to about a 1.5 seconds back. You wonder if he might be saving a little bit tire-wise so that he can do a double stint. Jackson Van Pelt having some connection issues. Alex Bryson, matter of fact, Alex and Alex battling right there with Alex Penn and Alex Bryson with Austin Bloom. Horton did return to the track, by the way. Justin is unfortunately 2 laps down after the unscheduled pit stop. Up here for second, Leo looking inside. Bedford able to hold on right now. So, of course, that is the championship battle for those who are, just basically joined us. You might be looking at the field and saying, wait a minute, where's Heller and where is Barkuski? They are both not here tonight. And basically it's down to 2 sub-drivers racing for the championship amongst themselves, and then Matthew Weeks also in the running. And as they run right now, Henry would be the champion, which would be Christopher Heller's championship. And that's basically as part of the rules here in this series, where a sub can score up to half the points for your driver. So basically, the point spread is big enough for Heller that he would be able to win the championship over Matthew Weeks. And of course, every league has its different theories or whatever, or rule settings for that. Some leagues have drops and stuff like that, where basically they take your worst finishing races and get rid of those. Some have races where it just, you don't show up, it doesn't count. Here they do have a subsystem. I was looking low there on Leo for third. Coming up on quarter distance, as you see, remember we just talked about a second ago, the front stretch being clouded. Now it's not. So as I mentioned, that track temp's going to climb pretty quickly here. Of course, this is the surface that was repaid back in 1997. As I mentioned a little bit ago, this surface came into life after Bruton Smith purchased this track. And of course, Bruton being the same owner that owns Charlotte Motor Speedway. And what they decided to do was they made a flip. In the middle of 1997, they ran the race at Atlanta, early 97. And then came back for the finale in mid-97. And the front stretch was the back stretch. The back stretch was the front stretch. And there was a quad oval instead of a traditional 1.522 mile oval that it had. But for those who know their history of NASCAR, they know this right here that they're on is the old front straightaway. When the track was redone, they actually kept the grandstands from the front straightaway, the old front straightaway there on the backstretch. Now, when you notice that when you go down the back straightaway, you might see, wait a minute, well, where are the grandstands at then? There was actually a tornado that came. Oh, Finley, hold on. Way loose and fought that thing. There's a tornado that hit, I want to say 2002. I can't remember. I could look it up real quickly, but I believe it was 2002. That actually caused a lot of damage to the, well, Finley is dancing, to the grandstands and also the tower that was there, the press box and stuff like that. So they decided to go ahead and remove the grandstands after that, and what they did was put in a camping lot up top there. So that's why you see what you see up there now. So Stephen Miles, Matthew Weeks, it's a battle for third. Miles has locked up the Rookie of the Year championship this season. And looks like he's just going to give the spot to Matthew. Maybe. He told him to take it inside on the audio, but didn't give it to him. That's kind of interesting. Carrington inside of Leo. Yeah, that's the way it goes there, race fan. Unfortunately, it's an iRacing tradition. It's going to sound kind of negative towards the league, but this happens in every league. Every league usually will have a big turnout at the beginning of the season, but as we go on into the season, especially as you get towards the end, you get those people that are like, oh, I don't have a shot to win the championship now. I'm out. What's the point of me showing up tonight? I don't have to be here. And you get those kind of people. So, unfortunately, you have 24 cars tonight. Happens every time. Happens in every league almost. We ride with Josh Dillon in the 12 car. 9th position for him. Zach Lincoln out there just a little bit. That's exactly it right there, bud. You're exactly right. And there's really not a... I don't know if there's an answer to it. You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen some leagues. Is that Finley scrubbing the wall there? Sure is. Finley has probably torn up that right rear tire, unfortunately. I mean, I've seen leagues where they do a best of the rest type of thing if they have a playoff system. But, like, when you're in a league... When you have a league like this that doesn't have a lot of I'm watching Zach there. Have a playoff series or anything like that. They just have, you know, the 14 races or whatever. You know, it's like, how do you fix that? You really, I don't know if there's an answer. Other than you find a way, if you have prize money or something like that, you pay everybody that finishes in the championship or something. I don't know. But unfortunately, there's always going to be that negative vibe that comes with iRacing that, you know, real life comes first, which I totally agree with. So Bedford here filling in for Barkuski, about 1.6 seconds back. Matthew Weeks, 1.8 back. Remember, Matthew had fallen back to about the 5th position and has now worked his way back up to 3rd here. So the question going to be, as we get to the 38 lap mark, 35 to 40 laps on a tank of fuel. You know, we pitted at lap number 26 under that first caution. We're coming up on 53 this time by. So probably about another 8 to 10 laps. And there's the battle for second. Weeks trying to get to the inside. I have, honestly, I have gotten to the point where I'm in favor of that also, race fan. I feel that I don't want to use the term gimmicky because I don't know if that's the right term for this, but the champion should be the person who scores the most points, which I know that's kind of how it is now, but I feel like there's a lot of things you have to do to get to that point. And it opens up the door for a lot of things, from wrecking someone to different strategies or different things along with the stage racing and that kind of thing. The more and more this goes on, the more I become a, you know what, let's let them race. We don't need stages. We don't need the playoffs. Let them race. just like they are right now, as Weeks to the top side here. As we start to see more and more of that old school Atlanta racing. Dalton Wilson unscheduled pit stop for the 33. These cars are dancing everywhere. Well, I didn't change that. That's nice. Anyways. So Carrington has now gotten to the back of this battle. And it becomes 4 cars as Henry just pulls away. Nick Leo might want to get a part of this. Oh, hold on. Carrington's going to get a good run topside here, I think. Miles got tight contact between the 11 and 25. They're still hitting each other. Damn, they're all getting mad at each other now. So that's going to play a pretty big role. You see the damage on that right front. So Carrington takes advantage. So does Stephen Miles. Miles up to second. See if we can go back and take a look at this. Because the 11 felt like he was being squeezed. And he ran the middle line kind of purposely to keep him from being squeezed on the bottom. They come off two right. Oh, and right there you see the 25 kind of get shallow. They start slamming into each other here. The end of the wall they go. Casey checks up. Miles goes flying through. And meanwhile, Zach Henry's up there like, hey, I'll keep that up, please. I'm sure I saw Chris's mom, Patty, watching. I'm sure she's pretty happy about that happening. Taylor Henry, appreciate you watching. And Persona cheering on the 07. Bedford, as you see, is now falling back. That right front took a pretty good shot to the wall, and that left side got some damage too, so he's probably really tight, especially that right front showing. He's going to need that pit stop and maybe even a yellow to get that fixed. As Miles going to let the 11 back by here for second. Carrington's going to go by for third. And now Leo to the inside of the 25. And Stephen Miles is coming to pit road, so let the pit stops begin. Lap number 64. Here comes the one, the Atlanta native in pit road. Let's see if this is a fuel-only stop. Right side tires going on, so it will be at least 2 tires here. So Miles going to go 4 tires at lap 64, so obviously that's going to leave him 2 sets of tires for 100 laps. That's not happening. Again, about 35 to 40 on a tank. as Kyle Hall's going to come to pit road in the 87. Hall's going to take tires, it looks like, himself. I don't know if I'm in favor of going ahead and double stinting now. Let the tires be had at the end of the race. You don't need them right. I mean, yes, they're important right now, but save them for later. Carrington has gone by Weeks for second while the pit stops were going on there. Is Alex Bryson, Matt Schlosser on pit road. Bryson, 4 tires and fuel, 15-1. Here comes Carrington. Here comes Tyler Burton. And sounds like Casey got a speeding penalty. Here comes Alex Penn to pit road. And tires and fuel for Casey. And here comes pretty much everybody in. Zach Rogers. Zach Henry on pit road. So here's the leader. 4 tires and fuel likely going to here. So everybody going in and taking the tires. (15-4) as here comes Bedford to pit road now. So let's go ahead and track the Weeks pit stop here real quickly. 15-1. So it looks like 4 tires and fuel for Bedford. I'm probably expecting him to only have optional damage, so he should be able to go here. You know what? He's sitting here. I wonder if he's going to get the damage fixed and take the position loss now. So 23 seconds on pit road, so he must have had a very minimal optional damage. So basically, for those who don't iRace, you have 2 types of damages on your card. You can see the right front still showing there. So basically on the damage model, you have what they call required damage and optional damage. The required damage is, you know, if you blow a motor or if you got really heavy damage and something has to be fixed, then you get what they call required damage and you have to sit there on pit road. They will not let you leave. Optional damage gives you the chance to say, all right, I'll go ahead and fix it now, or you can wait, or you just don't fix it at all, and you can go obviously once your stop is complete. So Stephen Miles leads by 2.8 seconds now over Zach Henry. And as I look at all the numbers, everybody did take tires. Kyle Hall is now going to be 3rd, as he is actually going to be passed by Matthew Weeks right now for 3rd. Tyler Burton right now in the 5th position. Alex Bryson going to be up to 6th. Finley Fitzsimmons going to be 7th. Nick Leo, Zach Rogers, Josh Dillon 10th. And let's go back to 15th. That is where you see the 25 of Philip Bedford now after his very long pit stop. And then for the Casey Carrington fans, he is 21st and a lap down right now to the field. Needs a caution, obviously, to get the lucky dog. He is the first car lap down right now. So if there's any benefit to the situation, it's going to be that. As Dalton Wilson comes back to pit road. Let's check out Austin Bloom here in the 12th position. Austin in the 48. Looking inside of the Alltel Chevy, the Jimmy Johnson throwback, if you will, of Lilith Peters. And that is for 11th. Give that to Bloom. Let's jump back up here to the 4th position as Kyle Hall under attack. Tyler Burden there in that 36 car, the white and blue car. That is Alex Bryson. Burden going to get the run to the top side. And that'll keep Hall from... Actually, he's going to get loose there, trying to keep the car as he was going to slide up and up here for the lead. Here comes Henry. So we're just a couple laps away from the halfway point. Henry doing a great job filling in for Christopher Heller. And I believe Chris is actually here somewhere. Actually, I'm looking at Discord. He's not right now. But basically, he had something going on where a lack of internet, unfortunately, with this situation. So they put the sub in, but I think through his phone or whatever, if Henry does win the championship tonight, we will be able to talk to Chris. But this battle for third is getting battle for fourth is getting interesting here. You see Kyle Hall is falling back. But we got Bryson, we got Leo, we got Burden, we got Finley. Leo having, I think, his best run of the season here in that Jewel number 69 car. Gonna make the pass on Bryson for 5th. Roll back here as we see Nick Sargent in the 42 car battling with John Kreidler. It's a battle for 16th. Haven't really had a chance to move back here, so I want to give these guys an opportunity to put their racing on. Matt Schlosser, who unfortunately had some struggles throughout this race after running up front for a little bit, is back in 18th right there. As Kreidler going to make the pass, so move him up to 16th. And Justin Ray sliding into the picture. Ray, of course, the one caution on the back straightaway after contact with Bryson. Admins did call that, by the way, a racing deal. As we have hit the halfway point in this race. Not sure if we're halfway started or halfway finished, but we're here. we have some contact somewhere here. I hear somebody applaud. Oh, Jackson Van Pelt's over here in the grass. Not sure if there was contact somewhere, but the 07 having some issues and off the pace. And that Starburst looks like it's been dropped on the floor accidentally. Should mention Alex Penn spent a little bit on pit road. Not sure what happened to the 30 car. If he wrecked or something. If I can find what happened. There's Jackson already off the pace at this part. Oh, backstraight. Oh, no. Oh, ooh, that is the tide ride of Justin Horton, who's having his own struggles here. Gets stuck in the outside wall, and the problem with this track is, well, that. The safer barrier eventually launches out at you, and he gets into Jackson. So tough break there. So 86 laps going to be in the books next time by. As we look, everybody pretty much pitted between laps 63 and 67. So as we do 35 to 40 laps. From that part, that gets us to about lap 107 would be the 40 lap mark. So about 15, 20 laps or so. We get to that next round of pit stops. Well, let's roll through the field here and show you where everybody is. Zach Henry leads by 4.7 seconds. Again, a win for the 52, and the championship will go to Christopher Heller with the point structure of the series. Stephen Miles, the Rookie of the Year for Season 5, running in the second position here at his home track. Matthew Weeks looking to be a lock for at least third. Could maybe jump to second in points if you don't do that. Running in third right now. Tyler Burden, fourth position for him. Tyler had a great run at the Rock last week. And speaking of great runs, there's Nick Leo, fifth position for him. In the 69 car, Nick having one of his best runs of the season in the Jewel Ride. Finley Fitzsimmons got himself a win this season, and he runs in the sixth position right now. Looking to get a second win on the campaign. Alex Bryson running in the seventh position, up 15 spots, started 23rd. Let's do the math, that's 22nd. Alex doing a good job here in his rookie season here. Josh Dillon, who felt tonight that he was going to have the struggle bus out there for him. Running in the 8th position right now in that Dodge, number 12. Just having a nice solid run. Zach Rogers in the 9th position in the 4 car. Looking to finish out his season on a positive note. Kyle Hall running in the 10th spot. After his pit stop, he was one of the first cars to come to pit road and has slid back from, I believe he ran second after his pit stop, has fallen back to 10th. There's Austin Bloom in the 48 car. Austin running in the 11th position in the Bloom Brakes car. And Lilith Peters there in the 92, the Jimmy Johnson throwback, turning her sideways. Good save on that part. Oh, and I think he's still trying to save it. Let's jump up here real quick to second. Weeks going to go by Miles. Now back to Peters. And Lilith is going to come to pit road. I was just about to share the interesting story about this paint scheme. Of course, this is the car that Jimmy Johnson won his one Xfinity Series race in Chicagoland 2001 when he was in a battle with a young man named Ryan Newman. Yes, that was the same Ryan Newman that he battled for the Rookie of the Year in 2002. The interesting thing to all that was the sponsor of Ryan Newman when he came in his rookie year was Alltel. Jimmy Johnson's sponsor in the Xfinity Series. Kind of all goes hand in hand somehow. So pit stops going on. There's the 400 slosher on pit road as Peters pits, 14.8 there. We'll keep track of all the tire strategies here and see what people do. Again, there will be one run in the race where I think you're going to see people have to go fuel only. So I mentioned Kyle Hall. There's Philip Bedford, who's worked his way back up to 12th. Philip started second, had the run-in with Matthew Weeks there early in this race. And ever since then, he's been trying to play catch-up, getting that car fixed. But Bedford trying to get Barkuski a top 2 finish, if not a championship win if something were to happen to Henry, but he needs a lot of help. Alex Penn taking his car behind the wall due to apparently being a kid and not charging his headset. Good job, Alex. Kind of reminds me of the race, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? The truck that after, was it the ARCA race where at Kansas, where I think somebody pulled behind the wall after 2 laps, and they literally said for the entire race before changing it that the guy went behind the wall because he was out of fuel. So Steven Thompson runs in the 13th position. There's Steven in the 24 car. Led some laps last week at the Rock. I think he led a lap or 2 tonight also. John Kreidler, 14th position. Up 10 spots. Started shotgun on the field. Justin Ray went for the one spin that brought out the caution there in the 38 car. He runs 15th right now, so pretty good comeback for the most part. Obviously, still plenty of time to go. Nick Terrell running in the 16th position, the Doritos car. Been out there just fighting all season long. He's kept it straight tonight, doing a good job there, 16th. Nick Sargent in the 42 car. These guys all a lap down now, I believe. Nick obviously needs the help of a yellow, and speaking of a yellow, this guy needs one after his whoopsies coming to pit road, Casey Carrington. And I did find out through the audio that Casey was actually trying to call out his pit stall, but unfortunately due to other people on the microphone, he was unable to call it out. Somebody about ran him over, so he sped on pit road. As I mentioned, Lilith Peters came to pit road, and then Matt Schlosser there in the 400 car in 20th now. So all those cars have come to pit road, and that's where we sit right now as we hit lap 163 laps to go. 100 miles left in this season. Before we crown a champion, Dean stops sucking up. I do appreciate the viewers watching tonight. This Friday night of a historic weekend where people get to think back to what they were doing in 1996. As Matthew Weeks comes to pit road, not in 1996, but right now. Of course, in 1996, I was a 10-year-old. in 5th grade. And that would be the last time that NASCAR showed up at North Wilkesboro for a cup race. And of course, we got to see the cars on track during practice today for the All-Star race 23 years later. As Weeks takes a set of tires, so that would leave him no more tires. Alex Bryson on pit road. So here's the other question I now have. Do some of these drivers realize they don't have tires if they take them? Bryson, there you so right side tires going on. Now, let me throw this out there too. I say that one of these runs they did take tires. It looks like everybody I've seen every time has taken tires from their car lifting up. But I can easily be fooled and see that somebody did take tires and didn't. Right, I remember the 4 sets of tires, but I think Casey said that he meant to throw another set in there. So is 4 going to get you enough to the finish, Alex? So, I mean, this is the 4th pit stop right here. If I'm counting this right. I mean, everybody... Let's see, everybody pitted at 28, which then another 38 for Nair would have been lap 67, which is 2. Yeah, maybe they will have enough. I, for some reason, didn't think there'd be enough. Still, I'm playing the drama card here, okay? Calm down. So Henry has stayed out. Burden, Fitzsimmons yet to pit. And I think you're going to see... All right, it's too much math, Alex. And I heard Burden call out he's coming to pit road, so let's see. 36 is going to slow it down and almost get ran over by Finley. Did Finley not hear Burden say he's coming to pit road? Code brown for Burden. And here comes the leader, the dominator. Zach Henry, and Casey literally calls out he's coming to pit road. Finley locks it down. Oh, Casey, hold on. Henry 14.4. Fantastic stop. And that's going to hand the lead to Austin Bloom. Philip Bedford there behind him. As Bloom's going to come to pit road here. Now for Bedford, he's coming to pit road here also. Going to bring Kreidler with him. Steven Thompson staying out, leading himself a lap there in that 24 car. We'll see where this all cycles everybody around. Nick Terrell going to come to pit road, it looks like right here. Just waiting on Thompson to come to pit road, and it should cycle everybody back around to Matthew Weeks will be the leader now this race. And I believe this could be the first laps Weeks has led all night. He'll have about a 3.5 second lead over Henry once these pit stops happen. Thompson locks it down, and there goes Weeks on by. So 54 laps to go. Still one more stop to get him to the finish. So, Alex, let me throw this out there since you're in chat there. Do you split this run in half? In that case, for Matthew Weeks, he pitted at 100, which is 63 laps to go. He would have to go 31 and a half laps, technically. So, do you go 31-31, split the run in half, go to the finish? And, of course, you got some other guys like Henry here, 106. Obviously, you take those away from that 30, or from the, the 63 laps. And you get 57. Split that in half. Well, obviously, you don't have to tell me Finley's plan, but I'm just, what would you do, Alex? Let me ask that question. The problem for Finley here, or for Weeks, is that Zach Henry has 6-lap newer tires, and yes, new tires mean everything here. And you see Henry is within about 0.6 of a second, and Alex says he'd split it. I'd probably do the same thing. Split the run in half from the time you pitted. So, for instance, Weeks would split it 31-31. For Henry, it would be, obviously, you'd have to take 6 laps off of that, which would be 57 laps. So you'd split 28 and 29. And there goes Henry to the front. Now, I will say this. If I am in the 25 shoes of Philip Bedford, Philip's running 13th right now. And I think right now, for Philip, unfortunately, he is in disaster-saving mode for him. Of course, he's in the 25 car, filling in for Brandon Barkuski, who's trying to finish second in points. If I am in Philip's shoes, I am doing the opposite of what the leaders do here. So if we get to the halfway point of his run, which for Philip would be lap number, see, he put it at 107, so 7 from 63 comes out to 56 laps, so 28 apiece. If you get to 28 laps to go, and the leaders have not pitted yet, I'm coming to pit road at that moment and taking the tires. If the leaders come to pit road and split their run in half, and I'm Philip, I run it as far as I can go to try to get the caution. Because, again, you're in disaster-saving mode right now. The worst that can happen to Philip is he loses second in points to Matthew Weeks if Weeks wins this race. Which would, not be a good thing for Brandon, but, it's the only defense I think you have in his situation right now to keep this race from really becoming a disaster for that damaged car. There's Philip right now, 13th position. You still see the right front damage on that 25 car. And this actually happened with contact with the 11 earlier. Of course, we've only had one caution so far in this race, that for the 38 car that went around early. Around lap 25 or so. Been clean and green ever since, but this is the moment we were talking about. It was a battle for second between Weeks and Bedford. As Philip had started second. What you're going to see is these guys battle side by side for a couple laps. It was good, clean, hard racing at the moment. Stephen Miles was hanging out there. Casey Carrington was right there. Everybody was racing pretty good, but then Weeks is going to get a run here. Let me make sure this was the right laps this happened at. Because they battle for a while. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm a couple laps in advance. Let's go back to here. because this is lap 58, 4 laps later. And that right there was a big moment in the race, because Bedford obviously spent a little bit of extra time on pit road and has basically been back around 13th weeks, has been able to continue on where he is in the race as we come up to 44 laps to go. Tyler Bird and Nick Leo, 4th position here. So Henry's lead is 6.9 seconds. Stephen Miles there, 10.6 back. Tyler Burden, 11.4, and then Nick Leo up there in the top 5. I'm actually trying to do some history searching while we're going on here. And obviously what I'm trying to look up is drivers in NASCAR history that have won races in the same season with different teams. And that's what I'm trying to find right now, and I'm obviously not having the easiest time doing it. But obviously you think back into in the days of like the 1960s and 1970s, you had drivers that would maybe sub for others and go out there and win races in different cars or whatever. You had a lot of that back in its heyday. And then, of course, you look at tonight, Zach Henry here in 40 laps has a chance to win 3 different races with 3 different cars in one season. All for the same team, but all in one season. He would win, ironically, in the 25 car at Iowa, his own 39 car at Auto Club, and then the 52 car here at Atlanta, if he could finish this off. Let's look back here at the 3rd position. Stephen Miles under attack. Tyler Burden has caught him for the 4th position. There he is. So they go by the 81 car of Nick Terrell. Van Pelt on top. You watching the same race I am? Van Pelt's 12 laps down. Or unless you mean the top of the track. All right, so the pit window is open. Kyle Hall is coming to pit road here. Kind of road strategy in it. Going backwards. 36 laps to go. You see the track completely in shade now. Cool down under 100 degrees, track temp-wise. So Miles and Burden holding still here as Fitzsimmons now catching Nick Leo. And a battle potentially for 5th here. So 12 cars on the lead lap. And you see Finley down below. Oh, hold on, Finley. Gets loose there, catches it. Thankfully, he didn't have to use Nick to catch his car. And back here, Stephen Miles has lost the 3rd position to Burden. All right, so let's throw up the pit window here for a second. Let me take down the overlay part here, and let's bring up one of my favorite screens that I don't get to use much, but I get to use it tonight. Woohoo! The old pit board. So the 3rd column over is where you'll see the latest pit stops from all the cars. 106, 100, 106, 102, 103, all the way down. So if you use that number and you use the 163 number, you got to split the halfway points of all this. As I mentioned, for Zach Henry, 106 from 63 is 57, which would be 28 and 29. So 4 laps, you would think you might see him. Matthew Weeks should be about any minute if he's splitting the run in half. Tyler Burden should be about the same lap. Miles pitted at 102. So for him, it would be 61 laps. So split that in half, obviously 29 and, or I'm sorry, 30 and 31. And so on and so forth here. So, and look at this. So 32 laps to go. Philip Bedford on pit road. So I think this is the Hail Mary call right here from the 25 car. And how does Matthew Weeks counter that? He comes to pit road. Four tires and fuel for the 25, and I think you'll see the same for the 11. And that right there is the perfect counter move from the 11 to counter the 25 to make sure that he knows that second in points could be the 11s by the end of this race. We'll have to see how it all works itself out. Finley Fitzsimmons, Nick Leo, Zach Rogers, all the pit road here. Obviously, Henry, with the lap times being about a 2.5 second separation, could stay out about 5 laps before Weeks would fully catch him and have the fresher tires. Uh-oh. Did Rogers speed on pit road? Yes, he did. I'm thinking, or something else. Zach Rogers with a penalty on pit road. There's your fresh tire difference right there. The 25 just blew by the 52. That's why people loved Atlanta, by the way it was. So Henry now with a 12.1 second lead. Oh, okay. Thank you, Alex. Unsafe pit entrance for Zach. You never want to go outside that cone that sits over there, turn 4. Oh, Tyler, hold on, young fella. 4 tires and fuel for the 36, who's had a couple of good runs here the last 2 weeks. So right now we're seeing, by my count, about 8 cars that have not come to pit road. And I'm guessing these guys are going to go ahead and run the tank out, which obviously for 106, 38 laps would get you to 144, which is about 6 laps away. As we get into the later parts of this race, I do want to send a shout out again to everybody in the league for allowing the Captain Esports Network for being a part of the series for a second time. Of course, we were in the series last season and here at season 5, so looking forward to coming back season 6 in August. Big shout out to Whiteriver LLC for being the sponsor for 52. About got ran over for allowing the or for being a sponsor, I should say, for the series. So thank you to Whiteriver LLC for doing that this season. And all the viewers, of course, watch this on Friday nights. As here's Henry into the pit stall. Miles on pit road, Kreidler on pit road, 23 laps to go. And there he goes. That'll hand the lead to Austin Bloom. There goes weeks by, so Henry's going to have 23 laps to get to that 11 car. Now, the ultimate Hail Mary move right now is being thrown by this car, the 9. If Carrington gets a yellow, he'll be back on the lead lap. And not only that, he'll have tires to actually use. So this could be the ultimate, like, Hail Mary play that wins you a race potentially if Casey gets a caution. We were joking last night as we were doing the Rockingham race. I think it was Dylan was picking on me, saying that, you know, I'm bad luck for talking to people or whatever. And little be known that, of course, this is season 5, and of course, Casey being the boss man or whatever, he brought me on 2 seasons ago, goes to Victory Lane in Nashville after I made him the in-race reporter, and he's won 2 races after that. Just saying. Austin fighting those rears on that BMW. He's going to come to pit road now, I believe, and that's going to hand the lead to Matthew Weeks, who's got 1 second on Zach Henry, and, well, Zach's coming pretty quickly. All right, so with pit stops complete, usually I do this on restarts, but for one final time, I think we should do it for season number 5. Let's watch the swap for the lead here real quickly. And then we're going to turn it up. So this is your chance to blast those speakers here in the season number 5, as there's the pass for the lead, and we turn it up thanks to our good friends at frontstretch.com. 15 laps to go as Zach Henry leads. Of course, Turn It Up, presented by FrontStretch.com. As you can get ready for North Wilkesboro weekend. Tomorrow, the Truck Series in action. And I know that the Cup Series qualifying and Pit Stop Challenge happened earlier tonight. But we'll have heat races and stuff and all that covered for you this weekend on FrontStretch.com's website. You can check that out in more of the podcast. And so much as we go into somewhat of a throwback weekend as North Wilkesboro and NASCAR. So check out FrontStretch.com. Also, Indianapolis 500 qualifying and stuff. All going to be covered on the website. So you can check that out and also give them a follow on Twitter. And hit up their YouTube channel for interviews and stuff like that. 13 laps to go. As I said before, this was going to be kind of a weird race, the way it was all set up. We got two drivers that are filling in for the top two in points. And with the rules set up the way they are, it gives them half points, but still would be enough to get them to championships. So Zach Henry, who leads in Christopher Heller's car, is 12 laps away from winning Chris a championship. And Dean, now they're all pitted now. They're all done. Matthew Weeks running in second. Looks like he's going to fall just short of a two-peat. But the good news for him is he might just jump up to second in points, but I see Bedford's up to 10th now. So chances are that Barkuski, who would be the second place finisher in points, might actually be okay when it's all said and done. So we'll just have to see. Stephen Miles has won the Rookie of the Year championship with, one car clobbered in the wall right in front of the leader. That's not scary. But Miles winning the championship. Tim Abril no show in the race, so that gives Miles the championship for the Rookie of the Year standings. Pontiac looks like on its way to winning the manufactured title. And, of course, 2511's already won the team title. Henry leads by 7.8 seconds, and we're going to have a battle for second potentially here, as I notice. Or, I'm sorry, battle for third. Leo and Burden within about 0.6 of a second. As Fitzsimmons there in the fifth position, trying to catch them both. As we have 9 laps to go. Nick Terrell on pit road for his final time. And we got trouble on the back straightaway. Fitzsimmons, and he automatically jumps to pit road to keep the caution from coming out. Fitzsimmons spun on the apron. Let's see what happens to the 06. He's just fighting. He gets loose up into the outside wall, and, well, that's going to leave a mark. Shades of Steve Grissom in 96. Except it was way down here on the end of the back straightaway. As Green stays out, 7 laps to go. So Zach Henry pretty much just coasting his way to a championship run for As I mentioned, Christopher Heller, who has been really consistent throughout the season. But the interesting thing that I think is going to be the note for this season, one, is all the winners that we had this season. Now, believe it or not, if Henry comes to the checkered flag here in 5 laps, he'll be the only 3-time winner this whole entire season. We had a couple drivers win 2 races, but nobody won 3. And Henry would do it, not to mention in 3 different cars, which would be interesting. And, of course, it would clinch the championship for Heller, who was one of those winners who won at Darlington. So, nice little trend here I've noticed of older tracks and the car and winner of the race kind of matching up to each other, which is an interesting concept to say. But 3 laps to go. So how do you win a championship? Well, you're consistent, right? So this season, only one driver had more than 10 top 10s. And that would be Mr. Heller. So he knew how to finish the races this season. And did he make all the races? No, but he always had somebody there to fill in for him. 15 bonus points. That was not the most. Top 5 wise, he didn't have the most. Matter of fact, that went to, how ironic, Zach Henry, who had 6 top 5s on the season, about to get his 7th. So a lot of interesting trends as we go into the final lap of the regular season. 1.54 miles to go in what has been a completely dominant race for this 52 car. Started on the pole, led the most laps. He's pretty much done everything he can do. And Zach Henry going to come off turn 4 for 25-11, which is the team champions. He's going to win his 3rd race, and more importantly for Christopher Heller, the championship for Season 5 of the All-American ARCA Series. Weeks is going to finish 2nd. Tyler Burton caught Matthew Weeks at the end of the race, but could not get to him. Weeks finishes 2nd. Bedford finishes 10th. Filling in for Barkuski, so it's going to be very close between 2nd and 3rd in points. But it's all about the 52, and we're going to let him celebrate. All right, so we'll let the final standings roll across the top here of the race tonight. And we'll talk to a pretty good amount of the drivers here that won championships or whatnot here this evening. As Your top three, Henry Weeks, Burden. Leo finishes fourth. Stephen Miles ends up fifth. Bryson sixth. And Josh Dillon seventh. Great run for him. How about Lilith Peters? Good comeback to finish eighth. Austin Bloom and then Bedford there in the 10th position. Carrington going to be disappointed there with that 12th place finish after the incident there on pit road with the speeding penalty and miscommunication and stuff like that. All right. Lot of drivers to talk to and lot of people to talk to here. So let's... Where shall I start? Let's start with the Rookie of the Year. He's going to be shocked when I pull him up here all of a sudden after finishing in the 5th position tonight. Stephen Miles finishes 5th. But more importantly tonight, you officially clinched the Rookie of the Year battle. So congratulations on being the Rookie of the Year for season number 5.
I appreciate it, man. I didn't even know. Oh, yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Well, you and your teammate were battling, but your teammate didn't show up. And basically left it wide open for you, and you come back with a 5th place finish, but definitely one caution tonight made it very hard.
Yeah, that one caution. I think it was supposed to be another one towards the end when Fitzsimmons spun out. I was really hoping to get that one, but I guess he logged out just in time. But I just that first pit stop, pitting 5 laps earlier, really set me back, I guess. I thought it wasn't going to do that, but I didn't have enough time. I ran out at the end.
Well, it's still a great season, obviously capped off by this 5th place finish. You fell up. You did end up having some great runs throughout the season, obviously, and talk about kind of, I guess, reminisce in a way, but talk about your season, recap it a little bit, and your thoughts on it.
This is one of the best leagues. I give it to Casey Carrison, man. It's very competitive. Track position, that's what I really learned this season, was track position is important. If you have a bad qualifying lap and you start 5th on back or 10th on back, you're setting yourself behind the 8 ball. And Daytona, the first race, I feel like I was supposed to have that one. Both restricted play races, man. We had strong runs, and I feel like those are the 2 wins that really slipped away. And a lot of these tracks, man, I feel like I had strong cars. I just didn't have the track position, but I learned a lot from these guys out here, man. I give kudos to them for the way they drive every Friday night, man. And to have one caution, 163 laps, I mean, that says enough. But yeah, man, the recap of it was a Rookie of the Year and a top 4, 5 in standings my first season. I'll take that, man, and try to come back next season and be stronger.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and send a shout to whoever you like to.
Thank Captain. Thank you for broadcasting. Thank Casey and everybody for putting this league on. Thank my teammates Tim, Bryson, Wilson. He had a little hiccup today, but I mean, we got a strong team. Thank my girlfriend. Thank God. And that'll be it, man.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, Mr. Rookie of the Year.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stephen Miles finishing in the top 5 in points, top 5 in a race, and of course, as mentioned, the Rookie of the Year for season number 5 in iRacing. So great job on his part. All right, let's talk with our top 3 finishers. Let's start with Tyler Burden. Tyler, I overheard Matthew say it, and I felt the same way. After the race, a great run for you. Another top 3 finish last week. Some could argue you had the fastest car at the Rock. And, you showed up tonight here at a late run there towards Matthew for 2nd. But I think the reward of racing hard and practice and stuff pays off tonight with a 3rd place finish.
Excuse me. I didn't want to start off with a coughing fit.
Yeah, it happens.
So Rockingham, I was telling Zach or Matthew there that I honestly didn't expect that line that I was running to work. Literally took that line that I learned from Friday night running a next gen car at Saturday nights, and I had the whole field covered by 7 seconds. 2nd place was 7 seconds behind me, and I ended up winning that race. But yeah, I think when it comes to these tracks where it's like race the racetrack, I do a little better, just for the fact that where I live. You threatened me earlier. I've got like what 3 or 4 dirt tracks around me, so it's like when it comes to ripping the top, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, you had to put that out there, huh? That's fair, but
You can't make threats and not pull through.
hey, I'm not going to pull through because I was joking. But in the end, no. What's been like the biggest thing that you've like what adjustments, I guess, or what'd you learn that allowed you to turn that corner and make the moves to become this? I don't want to say better driver because you've always been a good driver, but have the finishes that you've been able to get.
Yeah. So in the waiting room, what I was telling Matthew is like I kind of had to relearn iRacing there for a minute. Because for mental reasons, because I was on different teams and stuff, and stuff just kept not going my way, that I took a step away from iRacing for like 6 or 7 months and came back, and I was trying to apply the same things I had learned before, and it wasn't working. So I started running this league on Saturdays, which like I said, runs the next gen car. And I've been taking a lot of the things that I've been part of the group that I'm in that team or series. I've been taking a lot of information in from those guys and applying it here, and it's honestly been a big boost in morale, and I've noticed a lot more willingness to experiment and change things up instead of being steadfast in my ways,
Right.
Which is the thing for a race car driver to always be, is always wanting to be learning, always willing to move around and do something wacky that no one else thinks is going to work.
And that's the way you did, and that's what you've done so far, man. You've been really good here these last 2 weeks. I've been happy for you, and good to see you having these great runs. I know it's a little up and down right now what you're going to do in the future, and hope to see you back. As obviously, one, it's fun to pick on each other. But two, obviously it's fun to see that 36 out there running pretty well. So hopefully we'll see you back here in the near future, and send some shouts whoever you like to.
Well, I always hope that I make the racing entertaining. I've always been told that I make racing look entertaining. But I want to give a shout out to my niece. She every time I get down, I just think of that little girl and how much she misses Uncle Ty, even though I moved away. And I can't give my dad enough thanks for throwing me in a race car and me asking him questions, and he just got tired of me asking. Boy, I can't teach you how to drive. You just got to go out there and do it.
That sounds about right, man. But hey, obviously hope for you and the best with you and your family, and best of luck, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, I hope to be back next season.
All right, buddy. Yeah, I hope so. Tyler Burden finishing in the 3rd position tonight. I don't even remember what I said to him now, as I think back to it. But anyways, I know he lives in Indiana, but that's a whole nother story. All fun. All right, Matthew Weeks, let's talk to our 2nd place finisher, and unfortunately I'll have to see the points here once I get updated if you are the runner-up or not. I know it's going to be close. But Matthew, you either way, top 3 finish here tonight. Let's take out the incident there between you and Philip. I mean, is there anything you had for Zach?
Yeah. I knew that first run, I cooked my right front. I just wanted to see, because I showed up late because I was grilling out, so I didn't get a lot of practice time.
That's a good reason for it.
So I was trying to take that first, probably, the first run, a long run test and see, and I cooked my right front tire. So when that caution come out, so happy. It's like, okay, I'm gonna back it down. So I did that, and I started chipping into that league, and I was like, okay, I said, this is where it's at. I just got to be smart on the right front. And then I got to that guy, and I guess he was loose, and I was just trying to make my way, and I was watching back. He just got loose on the exit, and nothing you could do there. But Zach was fast. I mean, I would have loved if that played different to really race him. But yeah, dude, it was a good race. I love this track. I love this track car combo. It's so fun.
Yeah, it was a great race watching. I know it was unfortunate the circumstances, but I do got some good news. As the points were updated, you ended up second in points by 1 point.
Hey, I'll take it.
So what's like the one thing, as we kind of reminisce here through your season, you got your one win, of course, 2 weeks ago at Pocono. But what's the one thing that you take from this season that's like, man, after winning the championship, it's something you take going to season 6 that's like, all right, I got to work on this to get better?
Strategy under caution. Like Rockingham, I stayed out, thinking everyone was gonna stay out. And they all pitted. Be a little smarter because I could have won Auto Club. I mean, there's a lot of incidents. I need to execute better. Is really what it is. Just if I executed better, I probably wouldn't have been in this position, being so many points out and trying to gain at the end. You know, I would have been closer and it probably been a straight up duel. Yeah, I just need to finish races and execute pretty much.
Well, still, it was a great effort. Obviously, you end up with 8 top 10s this season. That one win at Pocono, you got 2 poles, so I think you represented the team pretty well there for Mountain Man Motorsports, and getting second at points, get back-to-back, first, second. You can't go wrong with that. So, great job, and second place finish tonight. Send some shout-outs to whoever you like to, bud.
Shout out to you, Chris, man. I know you do a lot by yourself in this broadcast, dude, and you do a hell of a job, dude. I enjoy watching them back all the time. Shout out to Casey. I know there were some issues this season, man. Hopefully I don't get booted out of the league. I love this league. I love racing this league. It's a nice league. I love just to cool down and race on Friday nights, because Monday and Wednesday, dude, is stressful because it's big. You know, we race for money, and it's a lot of stress in those. I just enjoy coming here and kicking back. And everyone in here, man, this season was awesome, dude. I mean, I know there was a couple of ill spots and some bad things happened, but the season was awesome. I just can't wait to do it again, man. This group of guys is fun, and I guess everyone that watches, man, y'all come out and watch. Appreciate it, dude. I don't know, there's so many people to thank, dude. Y'all do a good job around here, and I like it.
Absolutely, man. Well, hopefully we'll see you back next season. And I know, like you said, there's a little bit of drama, but we got a couple weeks, a couple months to get through it. So hopefully we'll see you back. And what do you know, Daytona's right around the corner, and not like you haven't won a super speedway race or two.
That's one of my favorites, and I know I won't be racing for the championship next season because I'm going on a cruise later in the year.
Oh!
I got two vacations planned, so I wanted to get it done this season because knowing next season I'll miss some races. So we're still gonna show out. I love, like I said, if I'm allowed back, I'm gonna race this league. I love racing this league. So hopefully I see you next season, dude.
He's on a boat.
Yeah, we're gonna go have a good time.
All right, buddy. Be safe, man.
You too, man. You have a good night.
You too, buddy. Matthew Weeks finishing in the second position here tonight, and second officially in points. Congratulations to Matthew. Great back-to-back season for him in season 4 and season 5. All right, so let's do this. Let's bring up the driver champion, and ironically, the driver with the most wins this season. Kind of end up in the same car, working things out here, as they're also the team champion. So we're going to kind of combine all this at once here. So Zach Henry joins us in the booth, and of course Christopher Heller, who's in the booth now here with us. Chris, congratulations on the driver championship. Zach, congratulations on the win. 25-11, congratulations on the team championship. Let's go there first. As you guys obviously came back this season after you kind of began the career run when the league started, and it's a delight to come back and put the team on top for the points this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really cool. I couldn't have done it without Zach. Obviously, I couldn't have done it without Brandon either, and I'm just glad that Casey was letting me come back and race with everyone here.
Well, obviously, it worked out for you guys in the team, so congratulations to you. And I know Brandon obviously was a big part of it also this season, and others. So, Zach, let's talk to you first thing, man. I think you were pretty fast tonight. I don't know what you think.
I had a pretty decent long run pace. I think Matthew had a little bit of Matthew and Phil, I think, were probably I know Phil Bedford is crazy fast here, and I think him and Matthew probably got a little bit of damage when they made contact in that. I think it was the second run maybe, but
Light damage.
and that definitely helped me out. But Um, it was good to be fast. I'm very inconsistent when it comes to Atlanta. Sometimes I'm a 15th place guy. Sometimes I'm like a top 2 guy, and fortunately today I was a top 2 guy.
So, I went looking back. I can't find anything. Obviously, being on the air was kind of hard to do, but I was trying to look back into like the heyday of NASCAR to find drivers who have won multiple races in different cars for the same team. And I think that's something you got to go back to like the 1960s and 70s. But you pulled out 3 wins tonight or this season, all for in 3 different cars for one team, and with that became the only 3-time winner on the season.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, I'll take that. I think that's a cool stat, and I'd be willing to bet that hasn't happened before. So I'll just write my name in there and hope that one lasts forever.
Well, the weird part here's the best part of it all is what we talked about earlier. Is you won the race and got the championship for the 52 car. You won the race for the 25 car. So the only thing that would have made this weirder is if Chris wouldn't have won his race at Darlington earlier this season, and you would have been the only driver to win in both cars that finished first and second in points. But you didn't finish first or second.
Yeah, it happens, you know. Maybe I just need a sub for everybody next season.
I think you're going to be
I'll
on the
just
list.
alternate between Chris and Brandon.
Zach Henry makes 14 starts in season 6 for 14 different cars. All right.
0 points.
That's funny. Well, man, great job tonight. Send some shouts whoever you like to.
No, I obviously got to thank Chris and Brandon in 2511. It's every time I show up, I say, talk about just how much fun it is to run with those guys. I've ran with them for about 1.5 years now in a couple different leagues, and it's been a minute since we've been able to run together prior to this All-American season. So it's good to be back with those guys. I'm happy we were able to, clinch the team title last week at Rockingham, and I think it just shows how fast we are collectively and not just any individual driver on this team. And I got to shout out my wife. I know that she's downstairs supporting me and watching this. I'll get a big high five when I get downstairs to eat dinner.
Nice.
Let's see. I'm not running my normal car, but the Undercurrents guys, it's a band that my brother-in-law's in. They're a pop punk band down in Dallas, Texas, and I'm happy that they let me represent those guys and be, I guess, a representative for their band and try to bring at least a few new listeners to those guys. Let's see, Casey and the admins for All-American let me race and sub for both Brandon and Chris this season. I've had a ton of fun running in this league, and it has been very competitive. I mean, every week there's 8 or 9 guys that have the kind of speed that they need to go and contend for wins, and it's always been very, very clean, outside of maybe a couple of those short tracks. But it's been a lot of fun running this league with all these guys, and I look forward to doing that some more in the future. And then I also want to thank you, Chris, for doing these broadcasts all season. I think you do a great job, and it's always a lot of fun going back and watching these things. And hopefully this one's entertaining as some of the previous broadcasts have been.
I appreciate that, man. Well, great job, and we'll let you go enjoy the championship, or the race win, I should say. And Chris, let's talk to you now. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the team side of things, but man, and I know it's kind of a weird way to do it, but you know what? The only driver to finish with more than 10 top 10s on the season. You just came short a little bit on top 5s, and that's only because the guy below you right now in Discord had more top 5s than you. So you did everything you were supposed to do, and you're officially the season 5 champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, like I said before, I couldn't have done it without Zach. Obviously, I couldn't have done it without Brandon, but really, really cool. And I just appreciate everybody for allowing me to race here in the league, and appreciate you for doing the broadcast and all that. So, thank you.
So how do we back it up?
Go out and win more races and try to win another one.
Is that the one thing you would feel maybe you wanted to do more, obviously, this season with only the one win at Darlington?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you always want to win more races, but I mean, consistently, if you're consistent, chances are it will always keep you in contention. So
There you go. Well,
I
hey,
just
man,
try to stay consistent. Yeah, I just
Oh,
try to stay consistent and try to win races. So
nothing wrong with that. That's how you win championships. As they always said back in the heyday, consistency wins championships. Well, it's your time, man. Get some shouts over you like to.
yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody from the 2511 team, the league. I'd like to shout out you and shout out my folks for watching. But yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, man. Great job. Congratulations. Season 5 champion is Christopher Hellers. Congratulations to him and Zach. Zach won the race tonight, clinching the championship for Chris. But Chris, nonetheless, don't sell him short. 10 top 10s this season, 5 top 5s. Got the win at Darlington. He was Mr. Consistency on the season. So congratulations to the both of you guys. We'll let you guys go and celebrate. And let's bring up everyone's fastest pit road guy. Owner Casey Carrington.
Oh, sorry. Hey, guys.
Was
Hey,
that
everybody.
was that a low blow right there? The
I
guy
didn't even know what you're saying.
dogs
I was
on me.
feigning a rage.
Well, he dogs on me last night for my great broadcasting during the rerun, so I figured I would dog on him for being the Denny Hamlin of pit road this season. So
Hey, it ain't my fault that in 15 years they haven't made it a drive-through for speeding in the pits like it is in real life.
it is. I guess it hasn't been that long for iRacing, hasn't it?
But yeah, and it's like, maybe if some people weren't calling out their pit stops when they're in the middle of 1 and 2, I could have gotten on the radio to tell Matthew I was going to slow down, but I couldn't, so I didn't.
So when
I trying to avoid getting run over, I maybe came in a little too hot, maybe about 15 miles an hour too hot.
Is this when I show you how to make buttons your pit button too, so that you can hit it like multiple times,
Well,
like some
I
people
thought
do?
about that even before I tried to say something on the radio, but I was like, he probably won't see it, and I'll get run over.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll wait and just call it out once we get into the corner, and then I couldn't get a word in, and so I tried to wait till as long as possible. Then I was pretty much on the straightaway. I mean, I'm sure you showed it on the broadcast, and yeah, I would have rather he ran me over because we sort of brought out a yellow. I could have fixed the damn damage, but rode around for 230 miles or whatever, waiting for a caution, never got it.
Well, still,
like I was saying to Dylan, I wish I had just gotten wrecked and could have blamed somebody else. But
hey, that sounds familiar, by the way. So let's go into owner mode now. Obviously, great season 5. I don't
Great
know.
season.
It was fantastic. As you mentioned, win-wise, I mean, we just got our first 3-time winner. It took 14 races to get to that point. You obviously got another win this season. You saw, what was that? I think it was 11 winners on the season, if I remember correctly. But
10 or 11, yeah.
10 or 11. It was right up there. But nonetheless, there is going to be one change to the title, right, for the league. Should we throw that out there?
Yeah, I was gonna wait till we had the logo and all that, but hell,
That's okay.
I was so disappointed at the end of the season. I figured I'd just get it out of the way. I mean, yeah, I hate to give up the alliteration of All American ARCA, and that's been our brand for after whole 5 seasons now. But I figured to avoid confusion moving forward, it would make sense to just go ahead and bite the bullet and rebrand as the All American Cup Series. I do want to give a shout out to Whiteriver LLC for sponsoring as the presenting sponsor for the league this season. Big shout out to Michael Mew and all that support. And yeah, so like I said, we don't have a logo, don't have a presenting sponsor for next season yet. Hell, we got 3 months to get that all taken care of. A little under 3 months, but yeah, I guess there's the big announcement.
There you go. And he kind of made the comment in chat to the driver. So when I heard him say, I'm like, yeah, I'll bring him up here and let him announce it to everybody. So
yeah, it was one of those things I was kind of spiting myself because I was mad about spending 2 hours driving around for nothing. But hey, I finished middle of the field. I can't complain. Some guys didn't make it to the end, so. And now I won last week. How am I going to complain? I won at my favorite track.
And you jumped Husby in the points.
Well, yeah, but he didn't show up. I hope he's sleeping well right now.
That's his
reason
loss.
He didn't race. But he'll probably watch the broadcast back at some point. No, I mean, it's one of those things, too. We were 10 points shy of getting second place in the team standing, so I probably would have had a good shot at finishing second had everything went well for me, and that would have definitely gotten us second place in the team standings, which was my goal coming into the night. And we came up short in the manufacturer standings, so unfortunately, I guess I won't be getting any, was it Dearborn that they're based out of? Won't be getting any checks from them.
Yeah, you won't be hearing from them. But, well, needless to say, good to see Josh Dillon carry the team this week and this year. So
hey, he was due, wasn't he?
Well, hey, man.
I said coming into this race, I was like, hey, you got to have your best race of the season for us since Husby's not going to be here. Hell, if he didn't.
Yeah. He even let some people go at times, which was interesting. Well, hey, man, great job, though. Great time running this season. A lot of good words, obviously. And as long as you let me back, we'll come back for season 6 and go go from there.
Yeah, hey man, 13 out of 14 weeks ain't bad. So I guess technically it's 12 out of 14.
12. I was
but
gonna
no,
say.
I know, yeah.
I
But no,
almost
seriously, man,
completed the bingo card.
yeah, you do a great job with the broadcast, man. It's so much fun to go back and watch them and just knowing, it's like last week. It's just such a stark difference when you've got a race broadcasted versus when it's not, even if it's delayed.
Right.
It adds such an excitement and an energy to the event, makes it really feel like a legit big deal. And yeah, thanks on behalf of everybody at All American ARC. I want to shout out to Joseph Penn for doing race control once again this season. Damn, I'm clearing out the whole Discord. Everybody's leaving before I can get done with this interview. Like Mark Whitley over here. But no, shout out to him. Shout out to all my teammates. Shout out to everybody that came out, man. We had like 70 members this season. It was just finally, after 5 seasons, we had exactly what I always envisioned this league being when we started it a little over 2 years ago. So,
Well,
round of applause for everybody. Which I don't know if this will come across the. I don't know if that's coming across the Discord.
I think it is because it's playing in my ears. So use
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Round of applause from the 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And shout out to everybody that watched the season too, and all -2 people that are still watching right now.
Yeah, we're at 4 actually. We've gone up since you started talking.
Some people must have got up from their computers.
Needless to say, whoever it was that was supposed to pay me money for pulling Casey out of the channel so you guys can leave, you're welcome. So,
Yeah.
but hey, man, great job.
Yep.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming out, everybody.
Attaboy. And just for him, here's the point standings because he always picks on me for not showing the points at the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of soundboard clips I could have played that you wouldn't have appreciated. So be glad I picked that one. Anyway, that's my sign off for the night. You can close us out. Scow, I'll see you next season.
Well, thank you. So, Christopher Heller wins the points, obviously, by 17 over Matthew Weeks. Brandon Barkuski, Stephen Miles ends up 4th. Casey jumps Husby for 5th. Tim Averill ends up 7th there behind Mike and then Bryson. Tyler Burden would get 9th place finish for him in points. Finley Fitzsimmons ties with Mark Whitley. And so that's how the top 10 rounds out. Now, one thing I should mention, I didn't show it. Jonathan Cutlip finishes 12th in points. And the interesting thing there is Jonathan didn't show up the last half of the season. So that just showed you how good of a run he had before everything happened. So, all right. Yep, we're out. You heard you heard Casey play the sounder for me. And that means it's time for me to wrap up. So, August will be the next time you see us on the air here on Friday nights for the All-American Cup Series when it gets going from Daytona in August the 11th. Put it down in your books or on your phones or whatever you use to keep track of what you do. We hope to see you then. And, of course, the preseason race, which I might just stream it. We'll see as that time gets close.
In it.
Really? I was going to complete last season.
From that perspective.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We want me to win?
Yeah. You'd have more wins at a restricted plate race than I have this season, or in this league, I should say.
I was going to say I would outwin half the field already in the league. But anyways, we'll see when August gets here. All right, we're heading out as Casey continues to Mike Mommy. So we're heading out to enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. Enjoy the Throwback All-Star Weekend at North Wilkesboro, which guess who wasn't alive in this channel when that track was last raced? That guy. Yeah, I'm old.
See ya.
I'm supposed to say this isn't just a game, it's iRacing.
See ya.
There you go.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.
appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be